Mexico, a land of vibrant culture, rich history, and chilling hauntings. From eerie islands filled with lifeless dolls to ancient mansions echoing with restless spirits, these are the places where the supernatural still lingers. Join us as we explore 15 of the most haunted locations in Mexico, places where the boundary between the living and the dead is perilously thin. First Island of the Dolls, Isla de las Muñecas. Nestled in the canals of Xochimilco lies a place shrouded in unsettling mystery, the Island of the Dolls. As you approach, a dense fog rolls in, obscuring the view of decaying wooden boats bobbing in the murky waters. The air is thick with an inexplicable dread, heightened by the sight of hundreds of dolls hanging from trees, their empty eyes seemingly watching your every move. Legend has it that a young girl drowned in these waters, and the island's caretaker, in a desperate attempt to appease her spirit, began collecting dolls, believing they would house her soul. However, as the sun sets, the dolls seem to come alive. Whispers echo through the trees, and some say they can hear the girl's mournful cries mingling with the rustle of the leaves. Many visitors report chilling encounters, dolls that seem to turn their heads, eyes that flicker with unnatural light, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. A visit here isn't just a stroll, it's an encounter with the lost, the forgotten, and the unearthly. Second, Casa de la Tía Toña. In the heart of Mexico City stands the infamous Casa de la Tía Toña, an old, crumbling mansion steeped in sorrow and shadow. Its walls are thick with stories of heartache, betrayal, and spectral presences. Tía Toña, once a beloved matriarch, is said to roam these halls, a spectral figure dressed in black, her mournful wails echoing through the night. Locals avoid the house after sunset, fearing the chilling tales of those who dared to linger. Visitors recount tales of cold drafts that sweep through the rooms, chilling their bones. Some claim to have seen the ghostly silhouette of Tía Toña peering from the windows, her eyes filled with a haunting sorrow. As you step inside, the floor creaks beneath you, and the scent of old flowers fills the air, a reminder of a life once lived here. But the atmosphere grows heavy, and shadows stretch across the walls, wrapping you in a cloak of dread. Many who enter find themselves inexplicably drawn to the upstairs bedroom, where the temperature drops sharply and the air buzzes with an eerie energy, as if Tía Toña herself is urging them to uncover her tragic story. Third, Panteón de Balen Cemetery. As night falls, the Panteón de Balen in Guadalajara transforms into a place where the line between life and death blurs. This historic cemetery is renowned not only for its elaborate tombs and haunting beauty, but also for the ghost stories that permeate its grounds. Wander through the twisted paths, illuminated only by the silvery light of the moon, and you might encounter the ghostly figure of a woman draped in white, searching for her lost love among the graves. Locals speak of the infamous vampire of Balen, a malevolent spirit believed to stalk the cemetery, preying on the unsuspecting. Some visitors report hearing whispers in the wind, the voices of those long gone urging them to leave before it's too late. As you explore, the air grows thick with the scent of decay, and the shadows deepen, cloaking the graves in an unsettling gloom. Many have come to pay their respects but left with more than just memories. Some claim to have felt cold hands brush against their skin, or seen shadows flitting between the headstones. This is not just a cemetery. It's a realm where the restless souls linger, yearning for release yet bound to the earth by sorrow. 4. Palacio de Lecumberri, the Black Palace. Once a notorious prison, the Palacio de Lecumberri stands as a grim reminder of the dark chapters of Mexico's history. As you approach the foreboding structure, the heavy iron gates creak open, revealing a labyrinth of crumbling cells that once housed the most hardened criminals. The air is thick with despair, and the chill that settles over you feels almost tangible. Here, the echoes of tortured souls resonate through the empty halls, prisoners who met tragic ends, their spirits unable to escape the pain. Many claim to have witnessed shadowy figures wandering the corridors, the whispers of anguished cries resonating through the walls. On stormy nights, the sounds of rattling chains and distant wails fill the air, creating an atmosphere of dread. As you explore the damp, musty cells, you may find the ghostly imprint of a hand on the wall, a lingering reminder of a desperate plea for freedom. Those who dare to linger too long often report a sense of being watched, as if the spirits of the past are still trapped within these walls, yearning for solace and justice that never came. 5. La Moira House. Hidden away in Mexico City, the dilapidated La Moira House stands as a testament to despair and madness. Once a grand estate, its walls now bear the weight of dark secrets and untold stories. Locals whisper of the restless spirit of a woman named Moira, who suffered a tragic fate within these walls. As you step inside, the air feels heavy, as if burdened by the sorrow of those who once inhabited it. Flickering candlelight reveals peeling wallpaper and furniture draped in dust. But it's the chilling sensation of being watched that truly unsettles visitors. Many have reported strange occurrences, doors slamming shut on their own, cold gusts of wind that sweep through empty rooms, and disembodied whispers that seem to call your name. As night falls, shadows creep along the walls, twisting into haunting shapes that seem to reach out for you. The legend of Moira is said to come to life on stormy nights when her cries for vengeance echo through the halls, a reminder that some spirits refuse to rest until their story is heard. Those brave enough to spend the night often find themselves drawn to the attic, where the temperature plummets and an overwhelming sense of despair fills the air, a chilling encounter with a spirit still tethered to her tragic past. 6th Hotel California. In the sleepy town of Todos Santos, the legendary Hotel California stands as a beacon for those seeking both relaxation and intrigue. But behind its charming facade lies a darker narrative, a tale of hauntings that keeps visitors awake at night. Guests often report feeling an uncanny presence in their rooms, as if the very walls hold on to the whispers of past occupants. The bar, with its vintage decor and dim lighting, is where stories come to life. Patrons speak of a spectral woman who appears in the corner, her laughter echoing softly as she sways to the music of long-gone musicians. Those who have dared to investigate the hotel after dark describe the sensation of being watched, accompanied by the faint sound of piano keys playing a haunting melody. Many leave the hotel in a daze, unable to shake the feeling that something, or someone, lingered behind. In the garden, shadows dance among the palms, and the scent of blooming flowers turns to decay as night falls. A visit to the Hotel California isn't merely a vacation. It's an encounter with the otherworldly, where the lines between reality and the supernatural blur. 7. La Posada del Sol. The abandoned La Posada del Sol beckons with an allure that quickly turns sinister. Once a thriving establishment, its walls now echo with the memories of laughter and life, but an overwhelming sense of loss hangs heavily in the air. Visitors who dare to cross the threshold often report chilling encounters, spectral figures flitting through the halls, their soft whispers rising like a ghostly fog. As you step inside, the oppressive atmosphere grows thicker, and the lingering scent of old roses fills your lungs, transporting you to a time when the inn was alive with joy. But as night descends, the jovial echoes fade, replaced by an unsettling stillness. Some have claimed to feel a cold hand brush against their skin, or catch glimpses of shadowy figures peering from the corners of their vision. The upstairs rooms are said to be particularly haunted, where the temperature drops dramatically, and the sensation of being watched intensifies. In the dim light, the spectral figure of a young girl is often seen, wandering the halls in search of something lost, a tragic reminder of a life once lived. Those who spend the night often leave with a feeling of unease, as if the spirits of La Posada del Sol have woven themselves into their very souls. Octave Hacienda de San Juan Bautista Tuxtepec. In the rolling hills of Oaxaca lies the desolate Hacienda de San Juan Bautista Tuxtepec, its once grand facade now weathered and cloaked in eerie silence. The air around the old estate feels thick, almost oppressive, as if the very ground is saturated with the sorrow of those who toiled here centuries ago. The hacienda was the scene of many tragedies, and some say the spirits of its former owners and workers still linger, their souls bound to the land. As you step inside the crumbling building, the temperature seems to plummet. Shadows stretch unnaturally long across the walls, and whispers float on the wind, too soft to understand, but unmistakably there. Some visitors have reported seeing ghostly figures pacing the empty halls, their faces twisted in anguish. In the chapel, a cold, unwelcoming breeze blows even on the hottest days, and many claim to have seen apparitions kneeling at the altar, as if begging for forgiveness. The hacienda is a place where time seems to have stopped, leaving only the echoes of the past and the restless dead who refuse to move on. 9. Lalonas Bridge. At the edge of Xochimilco lies a bridge steeped in one of Mexico's most famous ghost stories, the legend of La Llorona. On moonless nights, locals warn, her cries can be heard, long and haunting, rising from the black waters below. The bridge itself seems cursed, its stones worn smooth by the weight of countless mourners who have come to pay their respects to the ghostly mother eternally searching for her drowned children. As you stand in the stillness, a faint wailing starts up in the distance, growing louder and more desperate until it seems to pierce the very air around you. Shadows seem to flicker on the water's surface, and the night air grows colder. Some say they've seen her dressed in white, her hair soaked and tangled, gliding just below the bridge's arch. Her ghostly form is said to vanish if approached, but those who hear her cries up close are never the same again. The bridge stands as a portal between worlds where the grief of a mother transcends death and haunts the living. Décima Casa de los Condes de la Torre Cosío y la Cortina. In the bustling heart of Mexico City, the Casa de los Condes de la Torre Cosío y la Cortina is a mansion whose elegance belies a much darker history. Once the home of a powerful, noble family, this house is now said to be haunted by the spirits of its former residents, unable to find peace after violent and tragic ends. As you step into its grand, shadow-filled corridors, the air feels thick with a sense of unease. The chandeliers sway despite the stillness of the air, casting distorted shadows that seem to shift when you're not looking. Guests and visitors have long reported strange occurrences, doors slamming shut on their own, ghostly footsteps echoing down the hallways, and the faint, agonized sobbing of a woman who is never seen. The servants' quarters, now closed off to the public, are said to be particularly haunted, with spectral figures often seen roaming the rooms, reliving the horrors of their past lives. Each step through this ancient house feels like trespassing in a realm not meant for the living, a place where the dead still rule. 11th, Ex-Convent of La Merced. The ex-convent of La Merced in Mexico City stands as a testament to centuries of religious devotion, but beneath its holy veneer lies a darker, more haunting presence. Once a place of quiet contemplation, this convent is now known for the restless spirits that wander its halls. Legend has it that many who sought sanctuary within these walls met tragic ends, their spirits now trapped, unable to find peace. As you explore the ancient stone corridors, the sound of your footsteps is muffled by an oppressive silence that seems to swallow all noise. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures cloaked in monastic robes, silently gliding through the halls as though still fulfilling their earthly duties. The chapel, once a place of solace, now feels unnervingly cold, and visitors have reported seeing candles flicker out, even though no breeze disturbs the air. Most unsettling of all are the whispers, barely audible yet unmistakable, that seem to come from every direction, growing louder until they fill the room with an eerie, otherworldly hum. In the ex-convent of La Merced, faith and fear walk hand in hand, and the past lingers, unseen but ever present. Dos. Hospital Juárez. Mexico City's Hospital Juárez is not just a place of healing, it's a site where the boundary between life and death has grown disturbingly thin. One of the country's oldest hospitals, it has seen countless patients pass through its doors, but not all of them have left. The hospital's dark history is rife with tales of ghostly apparitions, patients who met tragic ends, and whose spirits now roam the halls. The intensive care unit is particularly notorious, where some say they've seen phantom nurses attending to empty beds, and others claim to hear the faint cries of those who never made it out alive. Doctors and patients alike have reported strange occurrences, footsteps that echo in empty corridors, the sensation of being watched, and icy gusts of wind that seem to come from nowhere. In the morgue, where countless bodies have been stored over the years, the atmosphere is thick with dread, and many refuse to enter alone. Hospital Juárez is a place where the living and the dead coexist, separated only by a veil that grows thinner with each passing day. Tretan, Hacienda del Muerto. In the desolate outskirts of Ciudad Juárez lies the Hacienda del Muerto, a cursed estate whose name alone evokes terror. The tale of the hacienda is one of blood and betrayal, its former owners brutally murdered, their bodies left to rot in the sun. It is said that their restless spirits now haunt the ruins, seeking revenge on anyone who dares disturb their eternal slumber. The air around the hacienda is thick with an unnatural stillness, and as you approach, the temperature drops sharply, even on the hottest days. Visitors report seeing strange lights flickering in the distance, and the sound of chains dragging along the ground can often be heard, though no one is ever seen. The hacienda itself is a crumbling ruin, overgrown with weeds and vines, but the feeling of being watched is inescapable. Some claim to have seen the ghostly figures of the murdered family, their eyes filled with rage, standing silently in the moonlight. Others speak of disembodied voices, cursing the living, urging them to leave before it's too late. The Hacienda del Muerto is a place where death lingers, waiting for its next victim. 14. Parque Nacional Deserto de los Leones. At the edge of Mexico City, the Parque Nacional Deserto de los Leones offers more than just breathtaking natural beauty. It's also home to eerie tales of ghostly monks and unsettling apparitions. This former monastery, hidden deep within the forest, is a place where solitude can easily turn into terror. As night falls, the shadows lengthen, and the towering trees seem to close in, trapping you in their dark embrace. Visitors to the park have often reported seeing spectral figures dressed in monks' robes, silently walking through the forest as if still performing their monastic duties. Some claim to hear the faint sound of chanting, even though the monastery has long been abandoned. The old chapel is particularly notorious. Those who venture inside often feel an overwhelming sense of dread, as if they are being watched by unseen eyes. On stormy nights, it is said that the ghosts of the monks can be heard weeping for their lost souls, their sorrow carried on the wind. In the Parque Nacional Deserto de los Leones, nature and the supernatural intertwine, creating a place where beauty and terror walk hand in hand. 15. Casa de los Azulejos, House of Tiles. In the bustling center of Mexico City, the Casa de los Azulejos stands as a masterpiece of colonial architecture, but beneath its elegant exterior lies a haunting presence. The house, with its striking blue and white tiled facade, is said to be cursed. Legends speak of the original owners, who met tragic fates, and whose spirits now haunt the grand halls. As you step inside, the opulence of the house is overshadowed by a growing sense of unease. Some visitors claim to see fleeting shadows darting across the ornate walls, and the sound of faint footsteps often echoes through the rooms, even when no one is around. The upper floors are particularly eerie, with cold spots that send shivers down your spine, and the unsettling feeling that you are never truly alone. Some say they have seen the ghost of a woman in a long gown, her eyes filled with sorrow, wandering the halls at night. The Casa de los Azulejos may be a symbol of wealth and beauty, But beneath the surface, it is a place where the past refuses to rest, and the spirits of the dead still roam its corridors, trapped in a never-ending cycle of despair. These haunted locations are more than just eerie tales. They're places where history and the supernatural collide. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, one thing is certain: the spirits of Mexico's past still walk among us. Are you brave enough to visit? Let us know which place gave you chills in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying tales from around the world.